Let's journey back in time, not to the birth of a star, but to the birth of an idea. We travel to 17th century England, a time of great change and conflict. In this world, a thinker named John Locke was born. He asked some of the biggest questions we can ask. What does it mean to be me? Where does our knowledge come from? And how should we live together in a society? Locke wasn't just a philosopher in an ivory tower. He was a doctor and a political advisor. His ideas weren't just theories, they were tools for building a better world, a more just and reasonable world for everyone. Imagine a vast cosmos of human thought. Locke is a central star in that cosmos. His light has traveled through centuries, illuminating the path for others. He looked at the old ways of thinking, where kings ruled by divine right and knowledge was dictated from above, and he said, let's test this. He dared to suggest that authority, both in government and in our own minds, should come from reason and experience. This was a radical idea. It was a new way of seeing our place in the universe. It was a declaration that every individual mind has value and power. It was the beginning of a revolution, not of swords, but of thought. Locke's work became a cornerstone of an era we call the Enlightenment. Think of it as a great awakening. Humanity was shaking off the long slumber of unquestioned tradition. It was a time when science was revealing the laws of nature, from the motion of planets to the circulation of blood. Locke wanted to apply that same spirit of inquiry to ourselves. He wanted to understand the mechanics of the human mind and the principles of a fair society. His writings became a kind of user's manual for modern thought, guiding us on how to think freely and govern ourselves wisely. So, why does this man from over 300 years ago still matter? Because the questions he asked are the same questions we grapple with today. We still debate the limits of government power. We still wonder how our experiences shape who we become. We still strive to build societies based on freedom and consent. Locke's journey into the mind and society is our journey too. His quest for understanding is a timeless human adventure. He provided a map, and we are still exploring the territory he charted. His legacy is not just in history books, it's woven into the fabric of our world. Let's start with a simple, powerful idea. Locke imagined that when we are born, our mind is like a blank slate. He called it a tabula rasa. There are no pre-written instructions, no innate ideas about good or evil, no divine knowledge etched into our soul. Everything you are, everything you know, everything you believe, it all comes from your experiences. It comes from what you see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. Your mind is a canvas, and life is the artist. This concept challenged the notion that some people were born to rule and others were born to serve. It meant that our potential is not fixed at birth. From this blank slate, Locke built his theory of knowledge. He was an empiricist. This means he believed that knowledge is grounded in observation and evidence. You don't know the stove is hot because someone told you so, you know because you felt its heat. This is the scientific method applied to everyday life. Test your ideas, gather the data, let experience be your guide. This way of thinking encourages curiosity and skepticism. It tells us not to accept things just because they are ancient traditions. Instead, we should investigate the world for ourselves and draw our own conclusions based on what we can perceive and reason about. Now, let's zoom out from the individual mind to the collective society. Locke asked a fundamental question: why do we have governments at all? In a natural state, he argued, people are free and equal. Everyone has natural rights. These include the right to life, liberty, and property. These rights don't come from a king or a law. They are inherent to being human. But in this state of nature, our rights aren't always safe. Someone stronger could come along and take our property or even our life. There's no impartial judge to settle disputes, creating a world of uncertainty and fear. To solve this problem, Locke proposed a social contract. This is a kind of bargain we all make with each other. We agree to give up a small amount of our perfect freedom to create a government. In return, that government's job is to protect our natural rights, our life, our liberty, and our property. It acts as a neutral referee, but here's the crucial part. The government only has power because we, the people, give it that power. It's a government by consent. If it ever breaks the contract and starts violating our rights, the people have the right to change it or even create a new one. John Locke's ideas about government were not just abstract theories. They were practical blueprints for a new kind of society. He laid the foundation for what we now call liberal democracy. At the heart of his design is the principle of popular sovereignty. This simply means that the ultimate power rests with the people. A government is not the master of the people, it is their servant. Its authority is a loan, not a gift. And if it fails to serve the public good and protect their rights, that loan can be revoked. This was a direct challenge to the absolute monarchies of his time. To prevent any government from becoming too powerful, Locke advocated for a separation of powers. He saw the danger of concentrating all authority in one place, whether in a single person or a single group. So, he proposed dividing the functions of government into different branches. There should be a legislative branch to make the laws, and an executive branch to enforce them. These branches would check and balance each other, creating a system of accountability. This structure makes it much harder for tyranny to take root. It's a safeguard, a built-in circuit breaker to protect the liberties of the people. These ideas crossed the Atlantic Ocean and found fertile ground in the minds of America's founding fathers. When you read the Declaration of Independence, you are reading the echoes of John Locke. The famous phrase, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, is a direct descendant of Locke's life, liberty, and property. The entire document is a Lockean argument. It lists the ways the British king had broken the social contract. And it declares the right of the people to dissolve those political bands and form a new government that will secure their safety and happiness. Locke's influence didn't stop there. His thoughts on religious toleration were equally revolutionary. In an age of brutal religious wars, he argued that the state should not control a person's faith. He believed that genuine belief cannot be forced. The government's job is to protect civil interests, like life and property, not to save souls. While he had his limits, he wasn't ready to extend this tolerance to everyone. It was a monumental step. It paved the way for the principle of the separation of church and state, a key feature of many modern democracies that protects freedom of conscience for all citizens. Look around you. The world we live in is filled with the echoes of John Locke's philosophy. His ideas are not relics in a museum. They are the living, breathing principles that shape our daily lives. Every time you vote in an election, you are exercising the right to consent to your government, a core Lockean idea. The very structure of many governments, with their separate legislative, executive, and judicial branches, is a testament to his vision of limited power. He helped write the source code for modern democracy, and we are still running that program today. His influence extends deep into our legal systems and our understanding of human rights. The concept that you have fundamental rights that no government can take away is a powerful legacy of Locke's thought. When international organizations talk about universal human rights, they are standing on the foundation he helped build. The idea that you own your property and that the state cannot just seize it without due process comes directly from his emphasis on the right to property as a natural right. He helped forge the shield that protects the individual from the raw power of the state. Even the way we raise and educate our children is touched by his philosophy. The belief that a child's environment and experiences are crucial to their development is a modern expression of his tabula rasa theory. It informs our focus on early childhood education and creating positive learning environments. We understand that a person's potential is not predetermined, but is shaped by their journey. This optimistic view that we can improve ourselves and our societies through experience and reason is one of Locke's most enduring gifts. It empowers us to believe in progress and personal growth. Of course, the journey is not over. We still debate the very questions Locke raised. Where is the proper line between individual liberty and government authority? How do we ensure that our governments truly represent the consent of the governed? How do we protect the rights of minorities in a majority-rule system? These are not easy questions, but the fact that we are asking them, that we are engaging in this great ongoing conversation, is perhaps Locke's greatest legacy. He gave us the tools, reason, experience, and the ideal of a just society to continue the work of building a better world.